Hey, what's up? Donovan here. I'm just making this video as kind of a two-parter. First, I just want to let everyone know that I am considering myself back from my long hiatus of making videos. There wasn't really a reason for it. I just had other things going on. I've been spending a large portion of my time, the last several months, just lining up and playing shows with my own band, and I just haven't really been thinking a whole lot about making videos. If I really wanted to be making videos this whole time, I could have been. I've just been thinking about other things. It just hadn't really crossed my mind. When I stopped, I really did think that my subscribers would all leave, but that didn't even happen. I actually managed to accumulate even more subscribers in my absence, which is incredibly flattering. And so I just want to thank everyone who decided not to unsubscribe, as well as to any new subscribers who haven't yet received anything from my channel on their newsfeed. I am going to get back into it because, despite what people say, regardless of how packed someone's schedule is, anyone can take some time out of their day, sit in front of a camera, and speak about music extemporaneously for a few minutes at a time. Now, my uploads probably won't be very consistent, but they'll definitely be more frequent than they have been. Now, onto the topic of the video itself. This video may relate slightly to a video I made about a year ago addressing pop punk, but I feel that this video digs into the issue of punk elitism a little bit further and with a little bit more complexity. And so I hope to provide a little bit of insight for you. So obviously, when we're first starting to get back into punk, an overwhelming majority of the time, people tend to share very similar starting bands, as I call them. These are the more accessible and arguably digestible bands that serve a very important purpose. It's basically just to lure you into the world of punk, inhabited by thousands upon thousands of different bands with different styles, depending on what suits you. Uh, Now, a great example of this are the indie labels Fat Wreck and the early days of Epitaph. All the bands I can think of on those labels, or that those labels are responsible for, usually fall under the skate punk genre. The kind of punk that you can imagine playing like an old skateboarding game to or something. Skate punk just sort of falls between punk rock and pop punk, and those bands really guided me into my life of endless searching for the next great punk band. For me, it was always Rancid, The Offspring, Face to Face, and the early Green Day albums that had me desperately wanting more of this amazing style of music. And while I may not listen to these bands as much anymore, I owe everything I love about punk and hardcore to these starting bands that I had when I was 14. Now, I didn't make this video just to build up these mainstream punk acts, but rather to address the message that many punks in the scene nowadays seem to convey. It's that never look back mentality, the notion that if you listen to a band when you were a teenager and that band had like more than 300 likes on their Facebook page, then you better leave that in the dust because if you still listen to that same band now, you are a poser. Now, the funny thing is, I've been into punk for years. I've gone into the depths of the underground, and I've built up what I consider to be a fairly respectable repertoire of favorite bands. I obviously post obscure album reviews on this channel from time to time, so it may surprise you to hear this. With all the power violence, grindcore, and extreme hardcore that I fetishize all the time, my all-time favorite band ever, right now, and forever, is Bad Religion. So, I got into Bad Religion fairly late. I was probably 17 when I started getting into them. But they're a classic example of what most people would consider to be a starter band. Now, I personally have no problem finishing off like an Eddie Brock album or an Extortion album and heading straight into a Bad Religion album, which I do pretty frequently. My point is that I still obsess over Bad Religion. They're the best band I've ever heard, and I'm never going to stop listening to them simply because they have more than a few hundred fans. They're just an excellent band through and through, and I'm sure longtime fans of like No Effects would say the same thing about them. Now, I have friends that play the poser card to other people, even when they know how serious I am about Bad Religion. Now, that's just because they know how, I also love D-Beat hardcore and New York hardcore. But, that's what I mean. We slap these labels on people when we find out that they listen to a semi-popular band and completely disregard the merits of the band itself. But, absolutely, I encourage those of you who are new to the punk world to dig deeper. Look for more underground alternatives because, in my opinion, it does get better than, those mainstream acts when you take the time and search. But to hear someone calling someone else out and saying, oh, what, you haven't heard of Shit Nipples? Oh, come on, man, Shit Nipples. They're, Austrian DB hardcore, they released, you know, a demo limited to 50 copies and then broke up. Man, what do you mean? Like, what are you, some kind of poser? Just, don't take those people seriously, because 95% of the time, those people are just insecure with their own preferences, and they need to project on other people. So, just listen to whatever you want, is what I'm saying. Keep listening to Rancid, keep listening to Rise Against, keep listening to Lagwagon. Screw what other people think. Hopefully, you are digging into some deeper stuff, but even if you're not, screw it. Listen to whatever you want. Throw the idea of guilty pleasures out the window. Skate punk is still excellent. It has all its own qualities. I mean, I'd rather throw on a Millencolin album than a Crass album any day. So don't even worry about that. Basically, that's it for the video. That was my main point. Just wanted to elaborate on that. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know, if there's a new punk album you want reviewed. Let me know what it is in the comments below, because I'm going to be getting back into the routine of releasing album reviews and just general discussion, punk-themed videos. So yeah, I guess until next time, peace out.